Welcome back to day 6 of our chess journey to 1500 ELO. So yesterday we suffered our first setback and lost to a pretty strong opponent after a misclick of ours, and they converted pretty well. So now we're back down to 1262 ELO and trying to get back up to 1300. Let's jump into a game. We are black again, and I'm hoping for this move because we have been doing pretty well with the Sicilian defense so far this series. This is known as the Bowdler attack, which I know is incorrect from my experience with daily games, because after we play like this in some manner, he's going to lose a tempo and essentially lose his first move advantage rather, because he's got to move his bishop 2 times. So we'll play like this. I'm pretty sure we can include some moves in between, but we'll have to look at that eventually. He moves his knight out, and we will probably just push this straight away. If he takes, we take like this, and he's forced back here probably. He could go for the check as well, in which case I think we block with the bishop, because that's going to force a trade and he's going to have no active pieces, or developed ones rather. He checks us. That's an interesting move. I am looking at this move actually, but it's going to get scary after this. So how about this, this, and this? He could hit our pawn structure, but then we get the bishop here, which I don't really mind. So let's go like this. This bishop is currently pinned and vulnerable to an attack like this, but he can't play that right now because of our queen. Now he's got to move his bishop, and I'm curious as to whether this is going to be our move or this is going to be so. I don't think it's going to be a massive problem for us if he captures like this and we go like this. Although we could entirely avoid our pawn structure taking any damage by moving like this, which I think we'll just do immediately to save time. Our opponent is probably going to castle. Currently we have a very dangerous trap where if we move like this, he goes here and we go here, we can actually trap his bishop at this square here. So I'm kind of positive about this, but we'll have to see. Let's try to trap his bishop and bait him into losing it. He might just spot the tactic and capture our knight, which he does. And then we get the bishop here. Now we have to hurry with castling because our king is currently too exposed. So he hits us in the center of the board. And I think we could ignore that move right now and get our pieces into the game. If he captures, we are happy because it helps us develop our bishop. So let's do this. I'm looking at this move, which hits this pinned bishop, but we've got it defended right now, so it's probably not a problem. Although we will give up our bishop here in the event he plays like this. I think this move hoped for us to capture so that he might hit our bishop. He is probably looking for this or this. Do we have time to play h6 to prevent him from hitting our bishop further? He's got this move as well. To be honest, I think we could play like this, so that our bishop here is no longer pinned. It would pin our second bishop, however, which might be scary. Either way, we got this move at any point as well, which would deal with this pin. I think we'll move our bishop out, maybe to this square even. Or no, actually we'll play h6. I'm not liking the prospects of the position after this move either. He might move here. Instead, he moves his bishop like this. How about we just trade bishops with him and castle? Yeah, we'll try to do so. So we'll just pre-move this recapture. Oh, he's being a bit tricky right now. After this move, that's a pretty decent move by him. How about we play here then? I think this is going to be decent, because then we can capture his bishop without any massive issues, like breaking our pawn structure apart or getting our queen hit by his knight. So he captures, perfect, and we take his bishop and prepare for a castling. He's got this outpost here, yeah. After... do we hit his knight first, or do we castle? His knight doesn't really pose any immediate threat to our position, so I think we can just get our king to safety so we don't overlook any tactics. He captures there, and we'll move like this. I did overlook this, however. It's kind of awkward for us to have this isolated pawn, but it's currently defended by our light squared bishop at least. I got really worried for a second because I looked at this and this fork, but noticed it's defended, so we can capture here probably. Now his knight is no longer protected. We are currently equally. We are equal in terms of material, so we'll have to try to find some positional advantage, or a tactical one as well. This bishop is doing a lot of heavy lifting right now, but we'll need our rooks as well pretty soon. Something like this maybe? So what's our opponent likely to think about in this position? I guess if I was playing as our opponent right now, I would be looking at something like this and getting his rooks into the game afterwards. Or he might look for an immediate threat with his queen rather, but I don't see one as of now. So what should we do right here? We should have like a general plan as to what our idea is. I want to dislodge this knight in one way or another, probably by getting our rook here, and I realized he's got this move if our queen does not occupy this diagonal. So he might even move his king into the corner to try to defend his knight there, but he goes like this. Okay, we'll just proceed, I think, with our plan. Or we might play like this. I don't really see much merit in doing so, however, so I think we'll go like this. That's probably decent, taking the open file. And he's probably going to get his rooks into the game as well. This might be a move, hitting our queen. I might want to be looking at a move like this in response to prevent this push here, solidifying his knight in the center. He does, however, move his queen out of the way here. Is this possible? It might be a decent move. Let's just have an extra look in this position. His pieces are not super defended. This is undefended entirely, and this knight is only defended by the queen. Could we dislodge anything? This move prepares this, which hits his queen and his knight at the same time. And we might want to get our rook into the game. But which file would our rook want to be involved in? I think this might be a pretty decent idea. However, he might just trade down the pieces. Let's go with this first and see what happens. So apparently I'm pretty blind because we can't recapture here. This is a mistake by us. Capturing here would result in a recapture like this. This was a pretty quick spot by him. And he would get our knight. How about we try to hit him in some creative manner, perhaps? He doesn't threaten anything with his knight right now, but we'll have to look at some way of hitting him. This is met by this and this, after which this might be a move. Let's go for this actually. This might be our way to salvage this blunder if he plays incorrectly. What do we do here? No, he can't play this move, of course, because we occupy this diagonal. And this move, he moves back with his knight. Okay. This was pretty awkward for us. Our king safety is going to be compromised. This is met by this. After which we could get our bishop onto a square over here to cover our weakness around our king. That might be a decent idea. I think we'll do just that. And then he's gonna capture. And I'll just double check that we don't have any other major or other very good looking moves in this position. But I think something like this is going to be decent. We have to deal with this open king at least. He might look to trade rooks. I don't necessarily think we mind doing so either. Being down a pawn right here means we'll probably be in an awkward position for a while. He's currently hitting this. So what's our response going to be? Probably king up here. Although that doesn't quite work because it gets hit by this. King up here then. Defends this and this. We have no other way of defending this pawn apart from playing this move. Which is going to help us actually when I think about it. Because it's going to help us double up our rooks. Let's play this move. This his queen rather can't get into here yet. This is going to be kind of annoying. But we could try to pressure his king maybe, or we could try hitting his knight in some way. Currently, I think all trades are going to favor him because we are down a pawn, but we might still have some decent chances of outplaying him. He tries to hit our queen, or rather he does in fact hit our queen. But why does he play over here right now? Is he looking to play up here? Do we have some good idea, any decent moves with our queen right now? Let's spend a little bit of time and double check everything. This gives us a pretty centralized queen, and he can't really hit it easily. He could do something like this and force a queen trade, but then he's going to hit his own pawn structure at least. I'm pretty sure when I look at this position, I'm not scared of this move anymore. So we'll go ahead and just centralize our queen. This move, do we really want the queen trade though? We might want this kind of a position if it didn't get forked. Okay, so that's his idea. He is hitting this pawn. And now this move gets hit by this, which doesn't really work out for us. So how about we try to do this creatively, perhaps? That's no good. So we'll have to defend it like this, probably. Yeah, let's move over here and see how he responds. I want to play this move soon, so we aren't easily checked and forked in a lot of the lines. And our bishop probably needs to get to a better square as well. This is a decent square for a bishop, as long as this pawn is alive. Okay, so he moves his knight back. What could we do in this position to kind of mess with his plans? This was the move I wanted to play, but he just moved his knight back. So what do we do then? He can't hit this pawn with another piece yet. So do we move here or here perhaps? That might be an idea. I think this might be a decent move. Yeah, we'll try to preserve some time here and just play this backwards. I'm looking at this move even, to hit this pawn. I'm expecting this move perhaps. We hung another important pawn. That's unfortunate, because we don't really have a way of punishing this, I think. Because after this move, he's going to be hitting us with a fork. This guy is spotting those tactical moves incredibly quickly. So he's a scary opponent. So what do we do in this position? We might try to avoid the fork that follows this and look for this move afterwards. Let's do this. So we could try to hit his rook over here. He moves back with his queen, essentially saving himself from any tactical threats. And then what do we do in response? He defends this and this in this meantime, and he can't get hit like this. Our opponent is playing really well this game, and I really have to just say I'm impressed by his play. I'm finding it difficult to do a lot right here, but we'll try to find some way of salvaging this. Maybe this move? Because he hits this again, so we might just have to defend something like this. Our time is quickly running out, however, so this is looking a bit scary. Let's just defend the pawn and not use too much time. How about we try to hit his pawn here again with yet another piece. He's defending this pretty well. We might have had this queen infiltration move here though, which I did miss until just now. This move, we probably go like this, I think. His knight at least is not very powerful in this position. He hits our rook. Okay. We just move out of the way and threaten his pawn here. I don't see any immediate threats by him in this position at least. Yeah, let's move here and just get a triple stack here against his locked pawn. He's probably going to defend like this here. And then we are going to... I want to say centralize our bishop, but it's currently pinned. How about this move? Just going to hit this and still keep our defense here. He's threatening this fork, which doesn't really seem to be that problematic for us, because we can capture here, I think. And then, oh, actually it's a fork on our king as well. That's such a lethal move. It's an incredibly lethal move. And we are down to 1 minute right now. This is looking scary. Do we just accept the fork happening? Or do we move our king perhaps? I don't think we can do too much about the fork, so we'll just move like this, I think. This is really difficult. He's going to capture here. Oh, he's playing in a fancy way. Okay. Which forces us to capture here, I think. And then what's his plan going to be? Probably capturing here, I think. I think we might have to hope for a blunder by our opponent here, because this is not looking good right now. is looking for a checkmate in one way or another. What's going to happen here then? This is just met by this, and then we lose a rook. Our queen can't get into this attack either. I guess we'll play here and prepare this kind of a move. So what's our opponent going to do? He might just keep on checking us. Yeah, he does just that, and we'll move up here probably. He's trying to force us in onto the middle of the board. He might have some kind of a checkmate configuration here. He captures over here. Okay. So how about we move here? What's he going to do? Response? He could probably just ignore it. Captures. He's got the option of just moving up. We were down to 0 seconds, I think. This is pretty lucky, because we almost lost on time. Where is he going to move his queen now then? Our king is just stranded in the middle of God knows where. Luckily he's not got any checks this move at least. Although our king's safety is just not going to be looking good this game at all. He moves back like this, looking for the queen trade. What if we deny the queen trade? But he's got something probably. This is a move. Oh, he moves down. I'm hoping for this move. And then we just probably checkmate him, but that's very unlikely to happen. He's probably going to move his rook into the game. Maybe like this would be pretty good for us, I think, because we could just take. At least our pieces are defended by each other. He finally got his rook into the game. This is looking to be a checkmate perhaps. We'll move towards the middle of the board, I think, as far as possible. The last thing we want here is being on the edge of the board. Let's move here. This is a queen trade, but we can't really avoid it, I think. He checks us like this, okay. I guess we capture. So what's his plan here then? I'm really hoping for this kind of a move, but it's not going to happen. He moves here. I guess we move down like this. Well, then this is checkmate actually. Oh no, it's not, because we can move here. And we lost on time, oh wow. That's a first for this speedrun. And let's have a look at a game review. We'll have to look through it like this today, because we've already used our daily review. And we'll just look at the evaluation. This was pretty normal. Here we played correctly. Or actually, in this position, the best move was e6 and knight f6. Seems pretty similar. We played like this and kicked his bishop a bit. And defended like this. The position here was pretty even. Until which point? Here we should have played c4 apparently. Well, it's still pretty equal here. And here we are still good as well. This was the start of our downfall. We tried to move like this, which was apparently the incorrect way of defending. And from this point onwards, it seems to have gone downhill for us. His advantage seems to have widened, or increased rather. And right here he found some pretty decent moves, picked up our pawns, and found a checkmate. So that now we are back down to 1229 ELO for today. Our opponent Comsalo7 played really well today, so kudos to him. That's 2 consecutive wins in a row, and I hope we'll bounce back tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye bye.